Why, hello there. Are you here to listen to a scary story? Perhaps you just happen to stumble upon my channel. Well, my name is Danny Dreadful, and that's what I do here. I tell creepypasta, classic horror, and sometimes I even sprinkle in a little true paranormal. Now, if that all sounds good to you, then why not stay and hit that subscribe button? If you're already subscribed, well, then welcome back, my beautiful creepy people. Tonight's story revolves around an alien abduction. So, without further ado, grab your blankets, grab your whiskey, wine, or water, whichever you prefer, and let's get into tonight's tale. Tonight's story is The Tale of Betty and Barney Hill. Alright, gather around, my beautiful creepy people. Tonight we're stepping back into the early 1960s, where an ordinary couple named Betty and Barney Hill were about to become the unwitting protagonist of a story that defied explanation. Let's go into some background, shall we? Betty and Barney Hill were an interracial couple living in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, in the early 1960s. Barney was a postal worker and Betty was a social worker, and they were well-regarded members of their communities. On the night of September 19, 1961, they were returning home from a trip from Niagara Falls.
Niagara was a sight, wasn't it, Betty?
Absolutely. Nature's showing off its finest.
As they drove through the White Mountains of New Hampshire, Barney noticed a white light that was moving erratically in the sky, so he pulled over and got his binoculars out.
Betty, you seeing this light show too?
Yeah, I thought it was a star, but stars don't usually follow you around.
Barney observed a craft that he described as a flat, pancake-shaped object with rows of windows and multicolored lights.
Those ain't people up there, Betty. Big eyes, like visitors from another realm.
Barney, let's not get too close. Something feels off about this.
Disturbed by what they were witnessing, the Hills got back into their car and resumed their journey. They hit the gas, but that's when things got downright bizarre. Time itself started playing tricks on them.
Oh, Betty, this can't be right. We should have been home by now.
It's like we entered some time warp or something.
As they continued driving, they realized they weren't making any progress, and the strange craft appeared to be following them. Suddenly, they experienced a series of buzzing sounds and felt a tingling sensation. The next thing they knew, they were 35 miles south of where they should have been, with no memory of the intervening time. Barney's dress shoes, they were scuffed and their watches stopped working. Betty's dress had a tear in it. Over the following days, both Betty and Barney experienced sleep deprivation, anxiety, and nightmares about the encounter. Betty was particularly affected by this, so they decided to go see a psychiatrist together. The psychiatrist's name was Dr. Benjamin Simon, and he performed hypnosis on the couple. Dr. Simon regressed Betty and Barney separately to help them recall the events of that night. Under hypnosis, the Hills revealed a detailed narrative of being taken aboard an extraterrestrial spacecraft. Barney described the non-human entities with big wraparound eyes, grayish skin, and a somewhat humanoid appearance. The beings conducted medical examinations and took hair and skin samples. Betty described similar examinations and communication with the entities, who spoke to her telepathically.
Betty, we were aboard their ship. Beings with big eyes, studying us like we were specimens.
Yeah, but here's the kicker. They weren't here to hurt us, just curious, they said.
News of their encounter spreads like wildfire, and journalist John G. Fuller writes a book, The Interrupted Journey, thrusting them into the limelight, published in 1966. The book detailed the Hills' account of the UFO encounter and abduction. The case became a focal point in discussions about UFOs, extraterrestrial life, and the credibility of abduction accounts. The Hills remained consistent in their accounts throughout their lives, and their story continues to be a subject of interest and investigation within the field of ufology.
We're just regular folks who stumbled onto something beyond our wildest dreams.
While skeptics have offered alternative explanations, including sleep disorders and psychological factors, the Betty and Barney Hill case remains one of the most widely discussed and analyzed UFO abduction cases in history.
There's a universe out there, and we got a little taste of it.